In this edition of Black History Month, Living Stories at British Council Lisbon, Leonardo Silva and his SB2 class interview Anglo-French teacher Elaine Smith, who shares the story of her life with them, along with her impressions about French, Swedish, Irish, and Portuguese culture. Without further ado, please enjoy this episode of Living Stories.
Well, okay, brief introduction. My name is Elaine. I grew up in France. I was born in France. My father is English and my mother is French from the French Caribbean, a small island called Martinique. I don't know if you've heard of it. No, it's very small. Yes, that was me as a baby. That was around the time that I was adopted. In May, as I was adopted. So this is my dad. Oh, sorry. This is my dad. And this is my mom. Yes. Yes, I was 3 months old when I was adopted. And what else? You had the questions ready, right? Shall I just read them through, or?
If you like.
Yes. Trying to see what else can I do. I'll keep doing the brief introduction. So. Yeah, this is where I grew up. This is exactly the house where I grew up until I was 24. At 24, I left France. I left Paris to go to Sweden.
Wow.
You know where Sweden is?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. So I went to Sweden. Not for long, because I didn't like it. And then after Sweden, I went to Ireland. For 5 years, and I stayed there.
Okay.
And then after Ireland, I went to Portugal, and now I'm here.
Okay. Where in Sweden did you live?
It was called Jönköping.
Okay.
So like between Malmö
Malmö.
and so Malmö is here.
Yes, in south.
And then Jönköping is near the Vättern River.
Okay.
And here you have, what's the name of that other city? Gothenburg.
Gothenburg.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was around there. Have you ever been to Sweden? No, you've been to Sweden. Yeah?
Sorry.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
But the people say that it's not a good place to live because the people didn't go out and stay together. It's like a sleep city. Would you agree with that statement?
I've been mostly to Stockholm and Malmö, so I tend to disagree.
Yeah, I mean Malmö and Stockholm are very vibrant
Yes,
cities.
they are.
Like at 8 p.m. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Well, in my case, because I was in a very small town, it was a university town, so that was for me why it was strange, because there were a lot of students coming from all over the world coming to study, but things would close, very early. That is true. In my case, it was quite quiet. So I disliked it mostly because of that, and mostly because of the extreme weather, and just I would say the coldness of people.
Mm.
So not necessarily the most sociable.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know them for a long time before they open up. Yeah.
It's so cold.
It can be. It could be -20, but feel like
-20.
Yeah, but sometimes it feels like 5 degrees. Depends on the humidity.
Yeah.
Right? So when you see, -20, you're like, oh God, it's so cold. But actually, it feels okay. So it depends on the day, but usually winter time it gets very dark and very cold for sure.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
It's not a good experience to study in a place there are people from all over the world.
Is it a good idea or is it not?
No, it's a good experience.
I would say yes, so it is. But for example, I wasn't studying there. So I was there but not for studies. I was there for love. I followed my partner at the time that was from Finland.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he was studying, but I was trying to find a job. So I think this is why for me that situation was not great, because it took me a long time to find a job. I didn't speak the language. Yeah, but yes, you are right. In this case, when I would see his classmates, yeah, and then it would be nice.
Clara, you can sit over there, next to.
Hello. I think we've met before.
So,
Yes.
Elaine, this is Clara. Clara, this is
Lovely
Elaine.
to meet you again.
Nice to see you again.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, so mainly lived in France, Ireland, Sweden, and Portugal. Any questions about
What did you like most?
I would say Portugal at the moment. Like it's a close tie between Ireland and Portugal, because I feel like in Ireland people are as warm and as welcoming as here in Portugal. Yeah. Yeah. The weather is not as nice, but at least the people are amazing. Really, really fun to be with, just bubbly personalities, great sense of humor. Yeah. I recommend going to Ireland.
And during your stint in Ireland, were you already pursuing a career in teaching, or were you doing something else?
I was teaching business English at the time.
Okay.
So students that wanted to learn about management, marketing, publicity, things like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So one question that is related to what you were saying is, what was it like to be adopted? How could you describe it to us?
How was it like to be adopted? I would say it was surprisingly good. Surprisingly, because my parents always told me, I always knew, it was never a secret. So in this kind of sentiment, I felt like, I always felt integrated, if that makes sense. I always felt like I belonged. Yes,
Your
yes, yes.
parents told you when you have,
Since then, they always repeated. You know how you just know some things, you don't know how you know them, but because your parents have told you since you don't know, since the beginning. So yeah, it was never a surprise to me. It was never like a let's wait until she's 18 kind of scenario. I always knew. And they didn't even have to tell me, because look, it looks like I wasn't adopted. So a lot of people thought I was lying. I had the principal of the school telling me, or actually calling my mother to say, she keeps having this fantasy about being adopted. She repeats it a lot, and my mom was saying yes, because it's true. So she was shocked because she said that I looked like my mom.
Impressive.
you invite your biology.
I tried, but so in France, there is this particular status for, let's imagine you are pregnant and you have an unwanted pregnancy, but you want to give it for adoption instead of having an abortion. So that was the second choice she had, probably because it was too late. And yeah, but she had to give birth anonymously. She didn't want to leave any trace of her identity. So I got a little description of what she was like, but nothing much, and nothing really about the father. So at that time, when I had access to the files, because you have access to those files when you're like 16, 17, not before, so you have to wait until to reach that age to collect the information. Yeah, do you understand so far?
Yes.
Yeah, and then after, I think it was, a few years after, I decided to take a DNA test because I had nothing about the father, and so that's when I, dove in more detail. And that's when I discovered that my biological father was Turkish.
Wow.
Yes. And my biological mother is also from Martinique.
Huh.
Coincidentally,
What a
yeah.
coincidence.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
crazy.
Okay.
The same island.
The same island, exactly the same place. So it could be the case, because the island is very small, it could be the case that I might have met my biological mother at some point of my life, but I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, crazy coincidence, yeah.
So you have never been able to try to reach out to anyone?
No, that it's very hard to find your biological parents with that status. Hello.
Come on in.
Yeah, with that status, yeah, and a lot of the time they lie about the information
Sit next to-
just to make sure they are not found. So yeah. But have you ever watched the movie Lion? No. It's a movie about. Have you ever watched Slumdog Millionaire? Slumdog Millionaire. Yeah. Anyway, so the same actor. I think it has Nicole Kidman in the movie as well. It's about a boy who was adopted in Australia, but or in India, and then moved to Australia with his parents, and then he became very obsessed by yes, that's the movie, by looking for his biological mum. And his mother encourages him to look for his biological mother as well. And the same for my parents. My parents always were supportive of me looking. Yeah.
And now where is your parents?
My parents live in France. Same house. The house you saw, exactly the same. They have not moved.
In Paris.
Yeah, it's like around Paris, not exactly Paris, but yeah, in the Paris region. Yeah.
Is that your mom?
That is my mother, yes. And that is my father. And that was the month that I started getting adopted. Yeah.
Was that typical at the time for such young children to be adopted? Or-
No.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah. Usually it would be children that are a little bit older.
Okay.
Right? Before me, they were supposed to adopt 3 boys, 3 brothers. But because I think the house was too small, they were placed in a different family. And then, yeah, I showed up.
Yeah. So what was it like to grow up in France at the time?
It was great.
Your relationship with classmates, schoolmates?
It was always good. I feel because I grew up in a very happy home. I was always a very happy child, and so I was very sociable. I loved to speak to people. I wanted everyone to be my friend. There was definitely something I felt was that I always wanted to belong. I always wanted to be part of something. Yeah.
And how did you communicate at home? Would you always speak French to each other, or?
Oh, that's a funny thing. Yeah. Yes, I only started to speak English with my parents and with my dad when I was in like 20, something like that. But before this, he would always speak to me in English, and I would always respond in French.
Huh.
Actually, why do you think that is?
To improve.
Oh no, you don't think about that when you're that age, yeah.
Because you felt uncomfortable?
Yes, because it felt more natural, right? Like, because I was living in France, I was thinking, well, I'm not going to speak English if I'm in France. It would sound weird. None of my friends speak English. Why would I speak English? So, I understand your position here when you have to, you're told to speak English even amongst yourselves because it doesn't sound natural. But eventually it will. And for me, that was the case, yeah. Yeah. Question?
So have you ever felt a bit out of place, like between 2 different worlds?
Yes.
And well, how did you handle that?
Being mixed is a bit tough because, it can be. Because when, let's say, you are more around your white family, obviously they see you more as black because, you know, difference of color, shades, etc. So then they would kind of, you know, start talking about some stereotypes about black people, for example, right? When I know it's hard to believe now, but when I was 9 or 10, I was really tall for my age. Okay, I mean, not now, not anymore. But yes, I was really tall, and so my grandmother, she didn't mean anything bad, but she would say things like, "Oh yeah, you're so tall, you could be an athlete, you could be, you know, that kind of thing, right?" Yeah, but you know, it's fine. Athlete is someone who does sports, so you know, a runner, a basketball player, yeah, you name it, right? But usually, like, she would see me and she'd say, "Oh, you would be good at running," you know, that kind of thing. So, but she didn't mean anything bad by it. And then on my mother's side, so my black family, because also I grew up in France and I didn't grow up, let's say, in Martinique, you know, that small island I spoke about. They would see me as white because of the way I speak, because I didn't speak Creole, which is like the language you speak there. I know there's like a Creole as well for people from exactly. So there's one specific for Martinique, there's one specific for other islands. Each island has their own. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, when you think of aspects of your culture, right? Things like aspects of growing up in France, or even the other countries where you've lived.
Yes.
What aspects of the culture or cultures you've been a part of do you like and do you dislike?
I really like the food culture of France. I love it. The food, yes, the food culture. You know, kind of similar to what you have in Italy. You know, they really value food. Food is really an essential part of the culture and of the country. So that part I really love because it really brings everyone together. And you know, you could be really angry at each other, but food really calmed everyone down. I don't know. You know? Yeah. What else? And then I guess on the English side, I liked more of the small traditions we would have, like for example during Christmas. Like some of the traditions I like, you know, like the Christmas crackers, or you know, like the stupid jokes you have in the Christmas crackers. You know, that's what comes to mind really when I think about that. Yeah, like watching movies like for Christmas with my family. Yeah, I would say things that I dislike, let's say, about the French culture would be the judgmental side that a lot of French people have, like always judgy, not always, but you know, can be judgy. Is, for example, you know, you enter the room in a specific way, and I say, "Oh look, oh she probably had a late night last night," or "Oh look at how she's dressed," or you know, those kind of things. Always looking meticulously for something to say and to, you know, always like that. Yeah. So that's something I don't necessarily like. Yeah.
So you've mentioned the food has played a major role in your life and in your culture. So what would be your favorite dish?
My favorite dish. So my actual favorite dish has nothing to do with any of those cultures, but it's ramen.
Oh yes.
I love ramen because it just reminds me of, you know, let's say it's cold outside and you had a long day. Ramen is like a hug in a bowl, you know? And this is something I really like. I like comfort food. I like things like bœuf bourguignon. Have you ever heard of bœuf bourguignon? It's like similar to jardiniera, I think. But like just beef and like wine and like, you don't like it? No, you're like, oh, thank God. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one, yeah. Why don't you like it? You don't like beef?
No, I don't like
Stews?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me that's like, oh, yeah, I like it. No?
That's when.
Okay, yeah, and I also like, there's one from Martinique that I recommend you trying if you ever go to any of the Caribbean islands. It's called, I'll write it down because it will be easier. It's called, well, chicken colombo. And it's basically, it's like, imagine a Caribbean type of curry. Okay? Curry, carrio? Is that how you say it?
Curry,
Yeah. Yeah, so these are my 3 main ones. Just anything comforting and I don't know, made with love, I suppose.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I like it, but it's too basic for me. As in, okay, it's you know, you just do the meat and then you have potatoes on the side, right? But I love it for sure. It's amazing. But I like a mix of something, like you just have everything in one pot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of stereotypes, I'd like to challenge my preconceptions about French food.
Yes.
Because every time I'd go to a French restaurant, I had the feeling that it was not seasoned enough. So first time around when I went to France back in '97, I'd go into, you know, it's something like a fast food restaurant where they just get all the dishes prepared, and then so I asked for steak and chips, right? So I start eating it and I said, what's wrong with this dish? There's no taste, there's no salt. So I ended up having this very negative impression whenever I went to restaurants that it just lacks salt for some reason. But I might be wrong.
No. I completely understand because are you from Brazil?
Yes.
Yes, that makes complete sense then. Because in Europe, you know, like I feel like I'm not going to count Portugal because you guys have a lot of influences there. But in Europe, like places like France or Italy, or even maybe Spain as well, I'm not sure. It's usually like pepper and a little bit of salt and herbs, you understand? So like for example, rosemary, thyme, oregano, all of those. And it's not about spiciness and things like that. They don't like to touch that because for them it's like about good meat. If you have premium meat, that's okay. And if you have good vegetables, like seasoned vegetables, that's fine,
Right.
But yeah, coming from Brazil, I get it because, where's the spice, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I completely agree. Yeah.
That's true. Has it been a kind of a current theme in your life? Like say, okay, where's the spice in this? Wherever you go, like, and I mean spice not necessarily as a condiment, but also spice in life, right? In relationships, in connections with people. Do you feel like you need that kind of spice? You need that kind of human touch or human connection?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. That's why I left France.
Okay.
I didn't really vibe with how people would speak to each other, like I said, like the judgmental thing, and I don't know, for me it was just it wasn't working for me. That's my brother. Very enthusiastic of posing with his sister. But yeah, that was the first time he saw me. He was he's my half brother, but you know, my brother.
How old was he when?
I think he was like 17, 18.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we have a big difference. He turned 50 this year.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Sorry?
Was he adopted?
No. He was my father's only son, and then my father got a vasectomy, and then he met my mum. I was like, that's going to be problematic for the future. That's why they adopted. Yeah. Yes.
So when you went to live in other countries,
Yeah.
there is something that happens in the UK in particular. When as soon as you start talking, they start trying to place your accent, right?
Yes.
So it's like a funny game that they play. You must be from Scandinavia, based on what.
Yeah.
So they had a hard time trying to read me at first.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yes.
But did you ever have to face that kind of situation where you speak and
always.
people are like, where exactly do you come
Yeah.
from?
Where is that from? What is
Yeah.
this accent? Yes.
Yeah.
Always. And because I'm a sponge when it comes to accents, I just like, depending on where I live or where I've lived, I've adapted my accent to that. So for example, if I'm in Ireland, I'm just going to start speaking with more of an Irish accent. If I'm in England, I'm going to start getting back to the English British accent that, for example, my father or my brother accents has.
Did you speak French fluently?
Oh yeah, no. So when I speak French like a Parisian. Bien sûr. Qu'est-ce que je dis? But yes.
It's true that French people hate American people.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, hate is a big word, but they definitely, I think there's some sort of, they despise them a little bit.
They think they aren't too cliche.
Yeah, kind of, like, especially with the current climate, it is not helping the situation, okay? But
It's not because the immigrants go to French.
I don't think it's related to the immigrants, it's related to culture. Because French people really believe that they have more culture than Americans. I'm not saying it's the truth, I'm just saying this is what they believe, right? They always believe that, like food-wise, they don't really see any culture. And like I said, food is really important for French people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Bless you.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so I would say, globally speaking, anytime French people see Americans, there would be two reactions: either an obsession, or a fascination, or completely just thinking, ugh, Americans. It depends. We have two types of French people. Yeah. But of course, like we said, like not all French people are like this, and not all American people are the way we imagine them to be, right?
So before we move on to the last topic,
Yes.
which is related to heroes, I'd like to hear from you how you relate to conventions, to these sort of conventions that everyone needs to follow when they live in a certain country. So things like in France, you're supposed to kiss a person 3 times on the cheek.
Two.
Or
depends
two,
on the region.
or
Yes,
twice,
yes.
So, and which of these conventions did you adopt for yourself, and which of these things did you start questioning, like, ugh?
Right. So, like as in norms of French culture, I would say I struggle now with doing, the 2 kisses or 3 depending on the region, just because I then moved out of that country. So there were 2 things. I moved out of France. So after moving out of France, people were either doing, just the hug, but they weren't doing the kissy thing. And I was with a Finnish person, which absolutely is
No way.
No. Mm-mm. They do like an awkward hug, a little hug, but they would not touch cheeks, Social distancing in Finland was already a thing before pandemic.
In Estonia as well.
Oh yeah, I can. Well, yeah, it's so close, right? And so, yeah, after that, there was pandemic. So during the pandemic, that's when, we stopped doing it. But yeah, I definitely dislike doing this anyways in France, because you would have to do it to co-workers.
Oh.
But like for example, us, we are quite close, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But co-workers that you didn't necessarily like, you would always have to do it. So it's a little bit awkward. Imagine having to do this amongst class, and even with classmates, people would do it. And it's a little bit, sometimes you just want to sit down and be left alone. That's something, Yeah.
True. Another thing that really affected me was how to address people, right?
Yeah.
So in Rio in particular, we have lots of endearing ways of referring to each other. My boss, my king, my brother. So, and that's something that I would never get anywhere else. And
Yes.
did you ever face any issues related to that? Like you wanted to address someone in a not slightly friendlier way, but you couldn't.
Yeah, like the tu and the vous.
Yes.
It was a big thing for me, because then when I left France, I was just using you. So, you, and so I didn't have to think about this. I would have to address French people outside of France, and then I would, how am I supposed to address them? I don't know. So yeah, I struggle a lot with that. Even today,
I see. Perfect. Okay, so the last question that has to do with what we've been talking about is who do you see as a hero in your life, and what makes someone a hero?
I would say, I know it sounds very cliche, but it's true. I would say my mother. Me, my father as well, but mostly my mother, because she is a very resilient woman. When you think that someone at 9 years old left, a small island to then have better life in France, and then living with all her brothers and sisters, everyone sharing like one bed or two, right? That's quite, in a very small flat and with a very small space, and trying to build a life for yourself. And it takes time, and she got a PhD, and then she actually became a teacher. And in between of that, just finding herself not being able to have children and really wanting children, waiting 9 years patiently to finally be on the list and have and finally have a child. For me, it shows like resilience and patience, and just keep going even if things are difficult. Yeah.
Have you ever done something that made you feel like a hero?
Yeah, I would say the only example that comes to my head is teaching, because I don't know. For me, I thought I would never be a teacher. When I was your age, how old are you guys? 14, 17. At that age, I was telling my parents, because both my parents are teachers, and I told my parents, no, I will never be a teacher. I don't know what you're talking about. And then that's my dad, enjoying a glass of rum, enjoying the holiday. So this is Martinique, by the way. That brings me back. I was maybe 18 on the picture. Yeah. Well, that's my mother learning about plants from Martinique from my great aunt. So her aunt, in her garden. It was really cool because there were hummingbirds around while we were talking. Anyway, so where was I? What were we talking about? I'm trying to remember now.
When you felt like a hero.
Yes.
Felt like a hero.
And so my mother suggested as a summer job to take care take care of her like a student who really disliked English. I don't know if some of you, it was the case for you. No, you like English. That's amazing to hear. Maybe at the beginning, maybe were you like this, where you didn't particularly like English, or?
No,
No.
I like it. If I choose,
Okay, fair enough.
I didn't choose English.
Okay, no, that's fair. So in this case, say like the mother of this child would say, okay, well, you're doing summer courses, you need to have a better English, and so the kid or the teen was not interested at all. She was really like, not interested. And so the first lesson, I could see that she was slowly understanding what was going on and slowly enjoying the lessons, and to see the satisfaction on her face of seeing that she was very happy and proud of herself and her progress was also really encouraging for me. And I was like, oh, actually, this feels amazing. I want to keep doing this. This is an amazing feeling. That actually, yeah, definitely made me feel like a hero, for sure. I'm sure you can relate as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very well. I believe that these are all the questions I've got. Would you guys like to ask any further questions? Francisco, you have the chance. Okay.
Irish food, yes. You're not gonna like it because it's a beef stew, but otherwise there is this kind of fish soup. Do you like soup?
Yes.
There's this fish soup. Oh my god, amazing! It's called seafood chowder. It's so good, and because they're near the sea, everything is so fresh. So like the salmon, there's salmon in there. There's crab.
What's crab?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any pets or
I have a pet. I have a cat called Sam. Let me see if I have your picture here. He's very cute.
Is it like New England clam chowder? It looks a lot like clam chowder.
Yeah, but if you put Irish chowder, maybe it will show something else. Let me see. Yeah, so I tortured my cat for Halloween. This is. This is my cat.
Oh, what a sweetheart. I
He
also have a
hated
black-
it. He absolutely hated it.
I also have
He was
a black cat.
awkwardly walking like this, just not having it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, I recommend.
Francisco, would you like to ask something?
No questions?
All right. I wish to thank you, Elaine, for coming and for sharing a little bit of your life and your culture.
This has been an episode of Living Stories at British Council Lisbon Black History Month edition. It has been recorded and edited by Leonardo Silva. Elaine Smith, our podcast guest, has been interviewed by Leonardo Silva, Constanza, Juliana, Madalena, Clara, and Francisco. The soundtrack to this recording was composed by Leonardo Silva on GarageBand. This episode has been edited on Capwing. This is a British Council podcast meant for educational purposes and entertainment within the organisation. All rights reserved to the British Council. No part of this content may be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means without the prior written permission of the copyright holder.